Hey, what is up, agents? So finally, I'm going to be making this deck profile for you guys for my Red WarGreymon deck that you've been seeing a lot on stream. It's been pretty much the main deck that I use on stream, despite the fact that the Imperial Dramon deck is probably brings us the most wins. This deck is a lot of fun. It's a real surprise. I think when people run into it, they're always expecting it to be a Red Omni setup, and it has won me quite a few games. I feel like this deck's piloting though requires a lot more. Kind of planning and a strategy when you're playing and really figuring out like what you're going to build into and kind of whether you want to go wide or you want to go tall. A lot of times you want to go tall and pretty much get the dub as quickly as possible. But I'm going to go through each set of the each card in the deck here, and then we'll go through kind of like the strategies and kind of the objective and the goal of the deck. And as for the Digitama, we play 4 Digimons and 1 Coromon. If you wanted to, you could run the 4 Coromon and 1 Digimon. However, just from playtesting the deck, it's made more sense just to play the Digimons because that 1000 boost tends to be more consistent as the game goes on. With Coromon, you're not going to get that until you hit your WarGreymon or some other level 6. So it's really only like super valuable for you once you have once you're kind of reaching the peak of your evolution. So that is why, generally speaking, I would recommend running the Digimons, but you could always do other things. The only thing I wouldn't do would be Babylomons, because he requires you to have piercing on that Digimon in order for it to gain the 2000 DP, making it not worth it. So we're going to start with our rookies. Let's just move this over here. Okay. So we are going to be playing 4 Biomons in the deck, really basic rookie. I mean, 3000 DP, pretty standard. Really, his inheritable is where he's going to shine for you, giving you that extra 1000 DP. Getting people, to having 5 more cards in the trash is generally pretty easy with this deck. Whether you're taking out security or you're forcing people to block things of that nature, or you're hitting some of the Gaia Force to get cards from their field into the trash. It's generally pretty easy to kind of get that effect. At the same time, going to be running 4 of the starter deck Augments. His inheritable arguably is better than Guillomon's, but again, you just want the attack boost from either, which is why again I would say keep Guillomon in here. But I'm sure you could probably trade him out if you wanted to for a different inheritable. The next 4 costs or next 4 rookies we're running is Biomon. Pretty standard stuff. 2 costs, 0 to evolve, 3000 DP. The fact it's a 2 cost, if you need to, lets you just hard play it whenever, if needed. I mean, there's going to be situations where you do want to have them out just based on what your opponent has on board. The last 2 cards we play are an Agumon. Again, because it's a 2 cost 4K DP, which is definitely higher than average. There's been times where his 4K, on top of any additional boost we may have out, which you'll see later, can be pretty beneficial. And he can swing into most things and be okay for the most part. But again, just like Biomon, he's there in case we need to do the hard play for whatever reason. He's there. Could you take him out? Maybe. More than likely, you could put in like a Vorvomon or something of that nature if you wanted to. But I found that this Agumon actually is pretty consistent and pretty useful. So that's it for our level 3s. And now we'll go into our level 4s. We are actually running 4 Quadramons. Standard blocker, 2 evo costs. Again, there are times where I just will hard play this guy. It just depends on the scenario. And some of you guys have seen the stream. There have been times where you just need that extra blocker for that turn to set up for your next play. But yeah, I run him at 4. I personally wouldn't take him out for anything that's out right now. Between 1.0 and 1.5, I would keep the Quadramon. I think it's pretty close to essential. Then we're running the 4 Dark Tyrannomons, really because the cheap evo cost. I mean, 1 cost 6k is pretty standard. I don't think that he's something. I think he's pretty essential to the deck. There might be some stuff coming out later that will make him replaceable. And then for our last set of level 4s, we have the 4 Greymons. Now, if you wanted to, you could put in the starter deck 1.0 Greymons and take out one of these guys if you wanted to. I mean, that extra 2000 DP, while will be valuable for this deck itself, I personally struggle with the idea of taking out Dark Tyrannomon or Corgimon to put the other Greymon in. So that's why we're with this Greymon. Now, granted, when BT4 comes out, I might be able to justify it a little bit more running Ancient Greymon, because obviously, for those of y'all who know me, I love the Greymon line of evolutions. So who knows? We might try it in that. It's just that I don't think the extra 2000 DP is worth it based on what this deck is trying to do or what this deck can accomplish as it is now. But if you guys decide to try it, please let me know how it works for you. I feel like this Greymon is quintessential with that +1 security attack, though. All right, now for our level 5s. We have 4 Metal Greymons. These are the starter Metal Greymons, super easy to get your hands on. Now, this Metal Greymon is great because of this inheritable, right, of gaining 3 memory. You put your opponent, and when you'll see it in a minute here when we get to our level 6s, you put your opponent in a really weird position because you force them to decide, later in the game or early sometimes, depending upon your memory situation, whether they're going to block and give you 3 memory, which can be extremely, extremely deadly and crucial, or they're going to take the hit from your level 6 that you're going to be breaking. In some scenarios, you might be breaking all of their shields simultaneously if things go to plan. So, again, you're looking at this Metal Greymon, and he's really here to kind of build up. You're not really meant to swing with him, but you can, right? You definitely can if, let's say, you have an Augment underneath him, you have the Greymon underneath him, and then if you have one of your Digimon, which we'll get into why they're here in a second, your Digimon. I mean, you're going to be sitting at 9k roughly. You have +1 security attack. If you want to risk it, you can. There are other ways to continue powering him up as well, but you can. It is a valuable option. Then next, we're running only 3 Lava Greedamons. Only reason we're running 3 is because of these 2 tech options that we have in here, or rather just one ofs that we're running, which is a Skull Greymon for blockers, and then Metal Greymon. Now, the Skull Greymon definitely is debatable. He can come in and out. He can come and go. That's totally up to you, I think. The reason why I have him in here is just because it's come up multiple times where I didn't have a way to get rid of the blocker effectively because there's no piercing in this deck. I'm not running any piercing cards, so I needed to put the Skull Greymon in here to help assist with that. But who knows? He might come out. He might stay. I haven't really decided because whenever I do pull him, he has been valuable, whether it's because I needed to evolve something just to draw a card and continue my combo, or if I really needed to drop him just to get rid of a blocker that was causing me a little too many problems. Again, because of the Metal Greymon, though, blockers aren't as big of an issue for you as they might be. But again, he's just in here for the just in case we need to pop something. That's why he's here. Then next you have Metal Greymon here. I mean, +2 security attack. This is a secret rare one. +2 security attack. You lose 5 memory when he attacks, but at the same time, you're gonna get rid of 3 fucking shields, which can be really, really helpful. And not to mention, again, if you have a Greymon underneath him, he's gonna be breaking 4 shields. So he's really good for that. And I thought about running him as a 2-of, taking out the Skull Greymon and putting in this other Metal Greymon. But again, Skull Greymon has been pretty helpful. But we might test it some more on stream with the 2 Metal Greymons instead. This +2000 DP on your turn is also extremely valuable, especially when we get into our level 6s, which we will show now. All right, for your level 6s, you're going to be running 4 of the WarGreymons from BT 1.0. BT 1.0 from the release pack 1.0. Now, this WarGreymon, to me, I really love this card. I know a lot of people shit on it, or at least like, it's okay for what it's trying to do, But here's where the value comes in, right? So he's a 3 to evolve, right? If you have a memory tamer, I mean, you're guaranteed to get him out and be able to swing on that turn. Not only that, most of the time people are trying to, in my experience, have been trying to prevent me from hitting above 3. And sometimes they'll just leave me at 3, not really expecting to be hit with a WarGreymon, this WarGreymon specifically. So what he does, if you're not familiar, on the turn he's Digivolves, he has +1 security attack, and then naturally when he attacks, on our turn, he's not going to activate any option cards from the stack, which is fucking great. So things like Positron Laser, Glorious Burst, Gaia Force, all those are things will not trigger when he attacks. So your real goal is, you know, to build up to this guy, and to get really any of these guys under him, but the ideal stack is really just a clear evolution line. So you'll want the WarGreymon, you'll want the Greymon under that. When it gets to rookies, it's not as important. If you have a Biomon, that's cool. You'll want the Augment, of course. So we'll grab Augment, and then you'll want, I mean, Digimon or Coromon is fine. It doesn't really matter. But again, just for the sake of canonizing it, we'll go with Coromon. So at this point right here, you're already at +2 security attack, so you're breaking 3 shields. If they block, you're going to get 3 memory, and you're at 13,000 DP. Now, if you hit, obviously, an Omnimon or something like that, it's going to hurt. But don't worry, there are still other ways to kind of get through some of that, right? And that would be with, I know we're getting into combos early, with your regular Tamer ties. So we're also using some regular starter deck ties to help boost your attack power, right? That's going to put you to 15k. You know, you'll be able to pretty much clear anything that's not an Omnimon, which, again, you know, it could be an issue, but I haven't had that problem. Honestly, I've yet to actually run into an Omnimon or something like that, or a body like that in security. But again, if that's a concern for you, depending on who you're playing, you do have Metal Greymon in here, which will give you 3,000 DP. You'll lose the ability to gain memory off the block, but again, depending upon what kind of deck you're playing, Metal Greymon may be more ideal to go into. So that's the ideal combo you want with the WarGreymon. That is why we run 4 of them. Now, the other level 6s we have in the deck. We got 2 of the starter deck WarGreymons. They're really just here and I think they're totally interchangeable. Like if you want to take them out for Ho-Oh-Mons or Phoenix Mons or something else, I think you could, personally. But I really run them for the just in case factor, and really just because like I love WarGreymon. It's really just a personal preference. That's really why they're here. And with this WarGreymon, you know, if you replace the 2 and have him instead, you're gonna break pretty much all of their shields. You're wrecking their shields because he's already gaining +2 security attacks off of his own effect. It's constant. It doesn't matter as long as it's your turn. You're going to get the security attack +1. And then if you have the memory tamer tie, you're destroying their shields. So that's why he's here. And then the other level 6 we have is a tech option of WarGreymon. Now, every time I drop a WarGreymon, people get confused. But WarGreymon is, in my experience, has been great for clearing out bullshit in Rookie Rush. So getting rid of even Frigimons, right, are going to be gone. Those Digimon with jamming. So you can, you play them, use this effect to pop whatever Digimon you want. Then if their Digimon are still suspended, you can always swing into their Digimon and then, again, use WarGreymon's effect to pop another body. That I found him more valuable personally than Volcanic Dramon, just because in my experience, whenever I would drop Volcanic Dramon to clear out the field, they would have so much memory left over that they're just going to play the same freaking Digimon back or get their board reestablished pretty quickly. So I found WarGreymon to be more valuable for me personally because you can just evolve with that 3 cost and just start clearing out the board as needed. And then for our level 7, we do run 1 Omnimon Alter S. The only reason we run 1 of them is because I literally only own 1 of them. If I had a second one, I'd probably take out one of the WarGreymons and put a second one in here just to have an option to go into. Because, again, he's great for clearing out the board depending upon the situation that you're in. He's kind of a great tech option to just drop. And, again, everybody seems to expect that, oh, you're playing red, you're going to go for Red Omni Turbo. That's your goal. But he's kind of here as kind of like, yeah, you give your opponent kind of what they're expecting, but depending upon how things go, your main focus is WarGreymon here. These guys are just kind of alternative options to kind of back up you getting the dub. The next thing, I'm actually going to put these cards aside, and then we'll go over a few more combo options. So you go here. All right, cool. All right. In terms of Tamers, I run one Tai Kamiya just literally because, again, I only have one. Ideally, you do want two. And then we have two Tai Kamiyas for plus 1000 DP. Again, this deck is really all about building up your Digimon as quickly as powerful, making them quickly as possible, making them as powerful as possible, and just wiping out shields. It's just that simple. And Tai is great here because if your opponent's trying to memory choke you, you can at least get out your WarGreymon. Because like I said earlier, with this guy set you to 3, you're always going to be able to get out your WarGreymon that turn and attack that turn. That's really the value of these two together. And plus, he's going to give you an extra security attack as well. So more than likely, again, you're breaking all their shields simultaneously. More than likely. And then lastly, we run not 3, but 4 Gaia Forces. Now, I run 4 mainly because I do not have another Tai. I don't have another Omnimon. There's these other cards that I would probably fill it with that I just don't have. So if I get another Tai, I would probably take out 1 Gaia Force and only run 3. My luck with Gaia Force has always been weird. I literally, almost every game a few nights ago, I drew 3 of my Gaia Forces, and 1 of them was in security. I mean, again, I don't think you're wrong for running 3 or 4 of them. I think it just kind of depends on what space you have in your deck and why, and what value they bring. For me, it's really just having the option of like, screw it, I need to just pop this. I mean, yeah, it's 8 memory, but I need to get rid of something on board. And that's what that's there for. As far as bad matchups, the most difficult matchup I've had with this deck is against yellow. Everything else has been fine, and really yellow, it's only Shine Greymon. The other kind of yellow setups haven't been too bad, but Shine Greymon, once they get their Kairis online and just start gaining memory and just destroying all of your shit by lowering your GP, that's a really hard thing to come back from, because I've been in so many situations where I had this guy in my hand, but I just didn't have the memory to build out into a WarGreymon situation. And so what I found, one of the ways to kind of help combat that, I'll just stay in the raising area for as long as I possibly can. So that if that means I have to take a WarGreymon and put him out on the field just to drop Alter S, I'll do it. But again, it's very situational. But yeah, guys, overall, I really do enjoy this deck. If you want to see more of it in action, I will be putting some of the videos from the streams up on the channel over the next couple of weeks. But if you want to see it live, just make sure to go check out our channel, twitch.tv/AgentSC3. I stream Monday through Friday. And at this point, we're doing Digimon almost every day. The only dedicated, day is Monday, you will definitely catch us at 8 p.m. playing Digimon. If you want to play, just pop it in the chat. Let us know. You're more than welcome to. We just do the webcam duels. And yeah, guys, let me know what you think about the deck, what changes you would make to a WarGreymon deck. And also let me know if you're excited for the upcoming set, Great Legends. I know I am super hyped for it, because I think that this deck, when it evolves into a kind of an ancient Greymon setup, will be fucking awesome. And I'm really, really excited to try it out. Anyway, guys, really appreciate you. I will see you in the next video. Peace.